Hi, and welcome to another episode of Intersections, Policy, Program, and Practice Exchange. My name is Elisa William, and today I have the pleasure to be speaking with Executive Director of Mental Health America Dutchess, Andrew O'Grady, and Professor of Psychology and Director of the Center on Aging and Disability Policy at Mount St. Mary's College, Dr. Larry Force. Andrew, let's get this started.
Yeah, so here we are back again for a final group of segments for the 2021 season, and this is really taken off. We've had many guests on here. I've received calls and email messages from people all over the country and the world, actually, saying that they watched the episodes that we've had and they really appreciate the information they're getting from people in recovery, from people in this field, from people in government, making and forming how our system of care is built. And today I'm really excited because we have a large panel, and the panel is related to technology in the mental health world. And I think, my career is 30 years and we've all done things a certain way because the money flows a certain way and we're told we have to do A, B, and C. And I could go into all the problems with that, but it really limited people's ability to get care when they needed it, where they needed it in many ways. And now we have technology, and what does technology do? It opens up a whole other world. And I'm proud to say that MHA of Dutchess has gotten ahead of the curve and is offering a technology that we're going to be talking about today, but we're offering this technology to our staff as a benefit to them to access. And it's just really great for society as a whole to be able to have access technologically to care and wellness through non-traditional means. So with that, I want to introduce or say hello to Dr. Larry Force, a friend of mine for many years, and he'll take it from here.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Alyssa, for moderating. So here we are. As Andrew said, we're back now for the last part of 2021. This has been a great success. I know that some agencies are using it, for in-service training. We started off locally, then we reached out statewide, then nationally, and now internationally. We have made a tremendous connection and friend in Australia. And I also heard today that Australia has opened up the boundaries and the borders. And I know that that was a big concern for Curry, so we wish Curry and her family very well for that. So how did we get here? Through evolution, evolution and connections. Dave and I have known each other for 30 plus years. Dave Brinkerhoff, Jim Ball, and I had a conversation 7 years ago about an idea of filling a gap. And the gap was being present in the area of addictions and recovery for adults, for midlife and beyond. From that, we created a program with the support of the initial support of the Family Kaplan Foundation. They've been wonderful. We created this program. I've known Andrew for 30 some odd years, and I go to him, introduce him to Jim and Dave, and say, look, we have this. Could we try it? And it's a program called Intersections based upon wellness and health. He says, come on in. So he's very, very modest when he says, being ahead of the curve. He is the curve. Okay, Mental Health of America really took, they took a chance by saying, okay, let's see if this works. Because when we first arrived, we showed up with virtual reality. And then COVID came in, and then we had to back away from that. Not forever, but just, as we're going through this quarantine. Virtual reality as an intervention. So we go to Andrew. Andrew onboards Jim Ball. Dave at that point was the chair of the board. Next thing you know, we're in Andrew's group homes and we're getting great success. Life goes on, and through life, I meet life events. I meet Vance Larson. Vance Larson, modest, but an influencer in the area of social media, life coach, minister, martial artist, real Renaissance guy. And we start, engaging in conversation, which was very, very helpful and very powerful. And from that, he says to me, hey, I'd like you to meet two people that I started the conversation with 2 years ago, and that was Shabu and John. And Shabu and John are the founders of Pacifyr. Along the way, Noelle Mancini and I had made connection. Noelle came to us. I mean, and we're so proud of you, Noelle. I mean, Noelle's now on to graduate school, and she's onboarded as an advisor for Pacifyr. Through connections of Vance, Eric Olson also joined us, and he brings a skill set in sales that is unmatched. So the team has grown, and it's solidified, and it's a strong team. But the focus today is really on the evolution that I speak about, the evolution of using digital mental health wellness platforms as a therapeutic intervention, specifically as it addresses the issue of addictions and recovery. COVID did a lot of things, and a lot of those things were horrific. But one of the things that it did was it pushed many entities, including the one that we're bringing to the table today, further down the path than we ever thought we would get, quicker, because of the fact of the quarantine and the idea of being able to pivot and be able to use internet technology and virtual platforms. So with that, what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce Shabu, and then he'll introduce John, and maybe we can have this discussion in advance. I'd ask, and Dave and Eric and Noelle, Andrew, let's have an informal but informative discussion. So with that, welcome, Shabu.
Thank you, Doctor, for having me as well as the entire Pacifyr team for this call. Pleasure meeting everyone. My name is Shibu Kirkevalil, and I'm the CEO founder of Pacifyr. Along with me is John Joseph. So he is also an entrepreneur, and we joined hands 4 years back in terms of talking about this whole mental health platform and how that can make an impact in the world. And now we are at multiple geographies and on an aggressive path to take it to the next level. So being said that, the topic what today you are talking about is very relevant in today's world. If we really look at it, there are two key things, right? One, if like the high income countries in the world, still there is only 70 mental health workers to every 100,000 people. And whereas in the low income countries around the world, the number is alarmingly less, which is like hardly 5 to 10 mental health workers per 100,000. And if we are talking specifically from clinical perspective in terms of psychiatrist or psychologist, the numbers are much less. We are looking at less than 1 per 100,000 in low income countries compared to hardly 10 or 12 in the high income countries. So that shows that, there is if we go with a traditional approach, we won't be able to serve the people who are in need. And at the same time, on the other side of the coin, the demand is overwhelmingly increasing around the world, either due to pandemic or, because of the stigma, which is, people are coming out of the stigma and started reaching out. So how does this, both the demand and supply can be met? Obviously through technology platforms, right? In this digital world. And that is where we see we can add a great value to entirely transform this whole industry. I mean, I can go on and talk more about how this will impact, but I would, let a doctor or anybody else to, have some comments, and then I can talk more about that.
Do you have, I know they're only about a minute long, but do you have those videos handy that if Alyssa could give you the opportunity to share the screen, those videos about Pacifyr, so this way people can get a sense of what it looks like? Yes, would you have those?
You're asking me?
Yes, those
Yes.
videos. Yes. Alyssa, is it possible you could give Shabu the rights to share his screen?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
Okay, because what I think it does, it provides a nice overview. Well done. It provides a nice overview of what Pacifyr looks like. The beauty of it is that it's individualized, it's personalized, it's confidential. And, having the opportunity, through mobile technology to access support immediately at any time is really a key. All right, so now Shibu is the host. So if you could share that video.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Are you suffering from stress, anxiety disorder, addiction, diet or wellness issues? With Pacifyr, everyone can have a timely and affordable multi-channel access to a complete and holistic approach of emotional and mental wellness. Here's all that you have to do. Download Pacifyr for Clients app from your mobile app store or Play Store. Open the app and click sign in and follow the verification prompts. Do a self-assessment to determine your current mood and the reason why you're calling. Select from among several emotional, mental health, or wellness providers and connect with them via chat, phone call, or video call. There's an after session to understand how you're feeling after your session and then rate the provider. With Pacifyr, your well-being is the priority.
So I think that message is key, and it says it all. I mean, we know in the traditional addiction and recovery world, one of the things that we wanted to do wasn't our only claim to fame, but one of the things we wanted to do was disrupt the arena because the existing protocols were not working. Andrew and I are big advocates, as many people, on the fact that there should not be two doors, one for addictions and one for mental health. We've advocated that throughout these video casts. And the fact is that with the Intersections program, now, wedded with Pacifyr, is the fact that it provides people an opportunity that even beyond the boundaries or the confines of a brick and mortar recovery center, that people can take this material with them. And I think that, you and John, in your vision, are at the right place at the right time.
Larry, if you don't mind me
Please,
just
Andrew.
saying that I just got done watching our county executive's budget address, and the first thing he started off with was the increase in overdoses likely due to COVID and isolation of 38% in just Dutchess County. We're only one county in one state. Multiply that by 50 more in this country, and then all over the world. It's not just addiction either. It's mental health concerns, and isolation is a huge problem for people, and accessing care is a huge problem for people. So to be able to, but everybody has, most people have access to a phone and Wi-Fi, and all of a sudden you can have access to somebody that will listen to you empathically at your fingertips at any time, and you're not as isolated. So that's why this is so important.
Yeah, if I may have to add one more aspect on what Andrew mentioned, right? So there is, why this utilization is hardly less, even though there are various programs and mental health services around there. It's one key aspect is about the anonymity factor, right? People, whether in the school or college environment, or even with the employees in the corporate environment, they are worried about their peers or their colleagues and the management knowing about what they are going through, right? Whereas this technology enabled them to be anonymous and at the same time seek help instantaneously. I mean, as we all know, an average wait time to reach out to a mental health professional is about a week to 10 days. These technology platforms enable people to seek help instantaneously, especially problems like stress, anxiety, road rage. These cannot wait, right? So that's technology is enabling some of the voids or some of the challenges what traditional environment has for people to seek help and get treatment per se. So just thought of adding on top of what Andrew mentioned about it. Yeah.
And John, adding to what Shibu said, I mean, the two of you had a discussion, when it was just a vision. did you ever think that you would be where you are right now in the environment that we're in right now? You're an entrepreneur by style and by skill and by training. And here we are in a digital mental wellness platform world.
Yeah, thanks for asking me that question. So when we started the journey way back in 2018-19 time frame, it was always the approach of how to transition from the legacy way of approaching the mental wellness to a technical platform, how to convert that to a technical platform. So Shibu being from the healthcare industry, and the explosion of information that came to me actually was overwhelming for me, because like most of the people who are not privy to the kind of mental health issues that they face, I was not aware from a business perspective. The question that you asked me was the business perspective. I was not aware of the need for such a service where the anonymity is maintained. It is stigma-free for the employees to talk to the service providers. And also the need to come out and understand that I have an issue. That is what is lacking in most of the places. People are not educated about the problems that they face. US is the only country in the world possibly who understands the problem to this definite extent, but in other places, though they undergo all these things, they do not know or do not accept because of other issues with the society, the culture, and all those places. We see that now during the pandemic, there is an explosion of issues that is coming out, and people are craving for a platform like ours. And I as a business person, I think this is the right thing to provide at the right time. The time is right too, for the world to understand that technology is setting in, and we cannot say that we are the leaders in the market. Others have proved that this is the right thing to do. So definitely the kind of global market existing, the need for such a service, and the kind of the way we have oriented our platform brings all value to what we are trying to do, and with the kind of team that we have.
Absolutely. And the team is growing. I mean,
Yeah.
Vance, I'd like you to address this, that, you said that you had a conversation with John and Shibu 2 years ago, and then you circled back and then you asked me to join that conversation. And as I went to Andrew and I went to Dave and I went to Jim, and I went to Noel, I said, look, something has come across my desk, because look, there are a multitude of platforms out there in the digital mental health world. But the unique fingerprint about Pacifyr, which got my attention immediately, is that it's a portal to holistic and complementary care. And it's not, yes, can you find psychologists on there, social workers? Yes, but you'll also find a whole array of other healers on there as well. So Vance, maybe you could talk a little bit about that. And also, Andrew said the thing about the county executive talking about, the overdoses. Maybe you could just give a little glimpse of your own private practice, because as you say, it's no pun intended, but the phone is ringing off the wall.
Right. So yeah, you literally took the the words right out of my mouth. What attracted me to Pacifyr was, in addition to being in private practice on and off for the past 35 years, I've also been doing consulting for 20 years. And my consulting was based around fitness. It was elite fitness consulting. I had a private practice firm. And one of the things that I always talked to when I was talking to a gym or a studio, something of that nature, it wouldn't make a difference what their goal was. I always insisted upon bringing on some sort of coaching component. And the reason being is because the body and the mind work in tandem. Whether it's stress, whether it's you're trying to lose weight, there's going to be some sort of blockages that may inhibit you from getting that desired goal. So I always felt like there had to be, that holistic approach, both the body and the mind, the movement and the spirit, that sort of thing. And so when John and Shibu reached out to me, and you're right, there are numerous platforms out there. There are numerous apps where you can find mental health, and you can find a yoga, routine. You can find a weight loss scenario. But Pacifyr is unique in the sense that it kind of has all of those tools mixed together. It's kind of a one-stop shop. And that's what attracted me to Pacifyr, because I wanted to be a part of something that aligned with, my personal philosophy. And then COVID hit, and, COVID literally took my practice from, a 10 to 12 hour a day practice to literally Monday through Friday, 18 hours a day. And it's just been insane in terms of trying to keep up with the demand. With the isolation, they talked about some of those high risk behaviors, and we talked about the addiction component. These things have been, they've been brought to the forefront. And I think numerous organizations, county organizations, if I'm being honest, I think the world, if we just stop and take a look around, we notice what COVID did to us. And it doesn't make a difference where we're coming from and what side of the political fence we're on. There's been collateral damage, and there's been some very good people going through some very challenging times. And so with me, Pacifyr gives me an opportunity to, because of their vetting process with their providers, it gives me an opportunity to refer to the app so people can continue to get the services, because I simply cannot keep up with the demand.
And in reference to what Vance is saying and what Shibu showed, that you can have access to this app by going to the App Store or the Play Store, depending upon if you're Apple or Android, and you can download the app. But before I come back to Andrew, I want to stop at Dave for a second, because after I met Shibu and John, the first phone call I made was to Dave. And the reason I called him first is because in their vision, what they were talking about and what they've moved forward on is that that this would become an employer, an EAP supplement, an employee assistance program supplement. When Shibu and John first arrived at our table, they had developed a contract with a professional organization of 8,000 providers in North Carolina. They asked Vance and I if we would get back involved in that conversation, and we have. And it's the Licensed Professional Counselors Association of North Carolina. And, everything is 6 degrees of separation. Next thing you know, I'm talking to the president of that association. She's originally from Dutchess County, Suzanne Walker. Not only is she from Dutchess County, but she went to the same high school that my kids graduated from. So we had a lot to talk about. And the fact is they have rallied around this, so much so that over the summer, I did 3 presentations for them. And then in December, Joel Simon, who is a leader in the Solution Focused Brief Therapy Association, he's doing a 2.5-day training. But Dave, when I first came to you and I said to you, hey, listen, something has come across my desk, and I think it has your name on it because of your connections with industrial, organizational, and HR systems. What you had an initial reaction, but now you've been well involved in this. Where are you now? What's your thinking on this?
Well, knowing you for 40 years, and this is not the first time you said I got something that came across my desk, and I said, oh no, here we go again. But upon further looking at it, I work with senior level executives who have all kinds of problems, and some don't have problems they think they got. But this turns out to be perfect for those kinds of individuals. And in talking with Andrew and being on the Mental Health America board of Dutchess County, which probably one of the leading ones in the country, we have about 2,500, and you can correct me on the numbers, 2,500 people we work with on a monthly basis. They get to see a person, therapist, whatever, and once a month. Wouldn't it be great if we could hook all of them up to Pacifyr, and they can see and get their problems don't come once a month. The problems come on an hourly, minute by minute basis. So that's for me, that's looking down the road, working with the corporate people, which we are doing. We've got several things lined up. We're talking to Mark Bryan, who some of you might know, and that's going to happen this week. So we're in good shape that way. So looking.
And Mark is a tremendous connection for this whole Pacifyr platform, because Mark is the co-author with Julia Cameron of The Artist's Way, where they sold millions of copies of books. He's a dear friend of Dave. About 5 years ago, we flew him in from California so he could give a presentation at a conference at the college. And he's a real gentleman, and he's been so helpful. But, you know, Dave, the same knock on the door that I said to you about something has come across my desk, I then go to Andrew. And I say to him, because I have a sign that I'm looking at right now in my office, it says, visionary people are visionary because of what they don't see. So I get excited about these types of visions. I mean, John and Shabu had a vision, and now they're really starting to, you know, move it forward. You know, they've done a tremendous job. You know, they've been in doing this for like 4 years now, and now they have really started to crystallize it, you know, with the app development, the whole bit. And they have a whole tech group, you know, underneath the surface. You know, what you're seeing evidence of today, everyone, is the helping field, but there's a whole tech group in order to make this happen. But Andrew, when you were first introduced to this, and then you met, you know, Vance and John and Shabu and Manu, I mean, something caught your eye.
Well, I mean, this is, you know, access to care is first and foremost for in my work, in my local work. I mean, I struggle. We do community-based care management. We work with the homeless people who are not engaged in treatment. We have people working within 2 police departments, and they are continually meeting with people who are not engaged in treatment. And so much of the work that MHA does is trying to link them to care. And, you know, we run into, because we don't have a large clinic presence, so we're relying on other systems, and our partners and our other systems are great. But the system itself, the New York State system, who defines the system of care that we try to refer people to, is flawed. The wait is a month. The wait is 2 weeks to get in the door. Then it's another 4 weeks to see a prescriber. It's just a terrible situation. And then when you talk about addiction, that's a whole other level. You have a small window of time in which somebody is in that place where they are more than contemplating getting help. They want to get help. And all of a sudden, you know, they pick up the phone and they make that call. They call their insurance company. They figure out who I can get into to see. And you make that call. We can see you next Tuesday. We can see you 2 weeks from now. We can see you, you know, and then that window closes and they pick up that needle again and they shoot up their arm and they die. I mean, that happens. So, you know, any technology that we can have that can give people almost immediate access to something, to somebody, it's so needed. And I was just, how can I make this happen for my agency? What can I do here? What can I help my staff? My staff have to help people. You can't help people unless you're helping yourself. So the only thing I could do was, let me see if I can roll this out to my agency and at least make it as a benefit for our staff members. And so that's what we're doing here, because I think it's so important.
So Shabu, could you talk, and building upon what Andrew said, because of the fact that one of the things that we know, but a lot of people don't know, is the fact that not only do you have a presence in the United States, but you have a solid presence in India as a digital mental health app, and now also starting to look at Canada. Can you talk a little bit about that? What the idea is in order to expand?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are multiple reasons, right? So you know, I would classify this as a pre-COVID and a post-COVID journey. So if we really look at it, in 2013, 2014, there were hardly 250,000 people who were availing this digital health, you know, telehealth platforms. And 2018, some statistics shows that it's again 3.5 million. But this COVID has changed the entire, telehealth space. And now we are looking at month over month and year over year, almost 300% growth in terms of adoption. And we are looking at by 2026, close to $176 billion industry. That explains the urgency and the need for anybody, everybody. This has to happen in unison with all the stakeholders involved in the ecosystem. We cannot move the needle just by promoting it either with the provider organization or only marketing and talking to the employer or the corporates, right? So there has to be a collective effort, right from the high level, the government level, the policies, the mental health policies, the plan, which needs to be trickled down to adoption by proactive employers, the proactive corporates to bring this to their employees or college and schools. So what happened is this, because of this COVID, obviously US and other developed countries are, much ahead in the game and they have, immediately access. But some of these, policies and plans has only been looked at and executed very recently. To talk specifically in India, they just came out in later part of 2020. And that has paved the way for a lot of organizations to come up and talk more about the seeking support and seeking help. That is when we partnered with an organization called IETO, Indian Economic Trade Organization, which has a presence in close to 120, 130 countries in the world. And they've been promoting various trades, which is in other domains other than the healthcare, mostly with the manufacturing and automobile and telecommunication and so on and so forth, right? So when they heard about us, this immediately become an attraction for them to take it, because some of the countries they work with are low income, middle income, type of countries, where they are at an early stage of adopting these policies and mental health plans. So they felt that this would be an ideal time for them to really transition and make that a difference from that country perspective. So they brought in Pacifyr as their mental health and wellness partner, and we are actually advocating and helping them to aggressively promote this to multiple countries. So that really taken off. And recently we won an award out of 60 companies. 6 of them has been identified, and we are one of that 6 for a major grant from one of the other state government in India. So in India, again, we partner with another organization called 10x2, which has a presence in multiple countries, even though their focus is in Southeast Asia. So they are promoting our platform, and they have various other startups they work with. So, we are doing, strong marketing and sales and adoption, seeing a lot of adoption in India, and taking it to Middle East also. So Canada, we are, closely working with a couple of mental health organizations, and they all have the same challenge, right? Especially with the COVID, how can these providers maximize, seeing various of their clients? And so that's where, we are trying to work with one of the organizations and take our platform to Canada. Obviously, we are little cautious because there are a lot of privacy, data security, and multiple countries, multiple regions have different, that's the, other side of the technology thing, right? We have to be very careful. We have to make sure that we wherever we go, we provide the right platform with the right security, and that's what our technology team is working on to ensure those things. So I mean, when everybody talk about technology, it is not just any means of communicating or any opportunity to do video or audio or a chat mechanism, right? That is something which we have to be very, very careful enough, because we are looking at patient data, we are looking at security issues and privacy concerns, and that is something I would strongly recommend everybody to be very cautious and make sure that people adopt the right technology with the right background. Thanks.
And you've done a really good job with that by assembling the team that you have, the tech team. And Noel, I wanted to ask you one thing, Noel. Excuse me one second. So when Dave, Jim, and I formed the National Organization of Adult Addictions and Recovery, and we launched it, the face that we had in mind were people in their 50s and above. And then we realized as we got out there, it was really 40 and above. And then I was talking to my son, Patrick, one day, and he said, what happens if somebody shows up at 35? And the answer is the door is always open. But now, you represent a new cohort for us, this idea of, college and graduate students. So from your perspective, obviously you believe in it, otherwise you wouldn't be sitting here. But from your perspective, how do you see it, if you could just summarize it quickly, but how do you see it as a value add for students and for people now, launching their careers?
Two reasons, actually. So the accessibility is a big one, because most of the time, even though most schools provide some sort of counselor, people aren't gonna leave their dorm in front of people. There's a big stigma associated with that. So people who usually want help don't go to the counselor that's, like, for me, it was located in the academic building. So if you went, everyone saw you. People want more privacy than that. Also, with the quarantine, we were locked in our dorms completely. So there was no leaving campus. There was no accessing help, even outside of the counseling they provided here. A lot of times, if you wanted to go to the counselor here, there was usually one for the entire school, maybe two. So you had to wait about several weeks to get in if you wanted to. And most people didn't want that. Most people, classes are online. So technology was a huge avenue, because most people want to stay in the comfort of their own dorm and access help from there. So it's very difficult, especially during quarantine, to get help. And a lot of people my age, the second one is the wide variety, because a lot of people my age don't even know. They might have some sort of negative feeling, but don't even exactly know where it's coming from. So a platform that has all of these options, it's much easier to narrow it down and kind of figure out what's going on and start from the building blocks and then learn how to become more functional, whatever the problem may be. It's more difficult when you're trying to find help outside to be like, oh, this is exactly what my issue is. This is exactly who I need to find. It's much easier when you can see the list of all the options of people who specify in a ton of different things.
And as I tell my students, my students undervalue their skill set because they can land lunar modules with their iPhones, with mobile technology. I mean, they're so fluid with it. And the fact is, the beauty of this platform, the confidentiality, you can access services in your office, in your dorm room, in your car, wherever, and it is confidential. And
Larry, this is only as good as the number of people, a number of providers on the platform. So, I mean, if I'm talking to you now and I'm thinking of how's this working for my agency and the staff members that can access it, I'm also thinking about who can they access, how many providers are available, and speaking to whoever's watching this now. If you're a provider, I mean, what a better situation. You're home, let's say you're a young mom, but you're a clinician. You put the baby to sleep for a nap, you flip your phone, you make yourself available. Boom, you can start making money and helping people right away. And
could I add to this, Shibu? Could you show that other clip real quick? Because Andrew, you bring up a really important point. We're talking about Pacifyr for a client, but there's also an app on the App Store and on the Play Store for Pacifyr for counseling, because your point's well taken. I mean, people that are coming out now, no matter where you are in your practice, if you're launching, what better option than to take a look at, developing a presence on a virtual platform? You can show that now, please. I don't think we get the sound. No, for some reason, the sound's not playing.
Probably because he's muted.
Oh, you're muted. Thank you, Alyssa.
Sorry about that.
Okay, I was going to say it's really good. I've seen it before, but the voice adds to it.
Yeah, thank you.
The impact of
How about now?
Yes, yes.
The impact of coronavirus pandemic goes far beyond the physical health and pose unique challenges in providing counseling. Are you a mental health or wellness counselor looking to grow your business and no longer be constrained by your location? If yes, Pacifyr is what you need. Pacifyr is a HIPAA-compliant mobile telehealth platform that helps you engage better with your clients during the current stay-at-home order. Now you can deliver quality services through chats, audios, and videos. Can be time flexible, reduce travel costs, increase accessibility to new clients, manage your earnings through integrated payment and billing, manage sessions with your clients on one platform, and so on. Download the Pacifyr for Counselor app from your App Store or Play Store and install it. You can enter the required info, including your name, educational background, and certificates on the mobile app. Then click on Request. Alternatively, you can register by clicking on Join Us from the Pacifyr website, www.pacifyr.com. Once the registration is approved, you can sign in to the Pacifyr for Counselor app and upload your liability insurance for your protection and start helping your clients. The app gives you a dashboard to monitor ratings and reviews from your clients and manage your online presence. Once the client reaches you, your billing starts when you click on Start Session. You will be able to monitor your income, contact support center, manage sessions both past and pending. Download Pacifyr for Counselor and start session with your clients.
And I think that is such a powerful message and so well done. So look, as we bring this to close, I want to move over to Eric for a second. My friend Jeffrey's mother, who's well known in the field of aging, says everybody brings a skill set to a team, and you need a variety of skill sets. So many of us are sitting here, entrepreneurs, agency heads, experience in HR, life coaches, practitioners, and now Eric has joined the team. And Eric brings a skill set to the table because he's into the sales and marketing component of it. So Eric, for a moment, I know you're traveling, so therefore you're just joining us by phone, but if a moment, if you could just provide some, your reflection or observation about Pacifyr.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for allowing me to share this. So my experience, 15 years now in healthcare, more specifically on the medical device side of sales and marketing. It's funny, I look back and this would have been an unbelievable app, a resource to have years ago. I was a road warrior, they called it, 40 to 60,000 miles a year, early mornings, up for cases, surgery, seeing patients. But there was a lot of window time. That window time was spent thinking about the day, thinking about what's going on. Almost in a sense, I became my own therapist. And I can tell you that wasn't really helpful because I don't know what I'm doing from that side of it. But I really look at this, and this is where a lot of the passion comes from. And the belief is that that would have been a great resource to help me through those troubling days, those difficult days, especially, you talk about road rage. I mean, when you spend 15 years and 50,000 miles every year, you're going to get a little road rage here and there, but you're going to also kind of lose that confidence or that ability to take care of yourself, eat healthy, work out. Really, my focus at that time was just work, 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 work. And so as I'd say got older and started to seek some counseling, and I think that's another part, is that I'm not embarrassed or afraid to say that when this was presented, it fit. It was almost this light turned on, going, I'm actually going to be able to be involved in something that I not only believe in, but I truly am a user of it. And so that passion is easy to wake up every morning speaking about Pacifyr, what it can do, how it can help individuals. And more importantly, even some calls that I had today, just the overall sense of people now just right out of the mouth, mental health. I've heard about it. That stigma, it doesn't seem like it's there anymore. I think there's still some journey to go until it's no longer relevant, but like mental health now just kind of, it eases. People talk about it, they hear about it, they see professional athletes talking about it. And so this is just a true passion that I have and want to help others. And because I know what it's done for me. So that's my take and my quick little history behind joining Pacifyr.
Well, thank you. And Andrew, before I turn it back to you, I want to say something that everybody's heard me say ad nauseum. I really feel that the vision that Shibu and John had, I really feel as though like I'm one of those people in that garage with Steve Jobs when he holds up that machine and says, I think I have something, which turned into, Apple. Because I really think the two of you have something, because you've captured an audience and you're not stigmatizing it. Like Eric talked about, the stigma, you're not stigmatizing it. So bravo. Andrew, before we turn it back to Alyssa.
Yeah, just this is a great discussion. I hope people have heard it. They check out this app, and I hope for my staff that watch this that they give it a chance. Nutrition, mental health, wellness, these are things that help the individual. It's always good to be mentally well. You can't have wellness without mental wellness. You can't be healthy without being mentally well. So anyway, this was really great. I just love being connected in some way to all of you in this technology world that I don't know too much about, but I think it's fantastic. And I'm glad we had this conversation. It was great. Alyssa?
Thank you, Andrew. And that was really well said. And thank everybody for being here today. And thank you for listening. You've been listening to Intersections Policy, Program, and Practice Exchange.
I'd just like to say one thing.
Sure.
They for further information about Pacifyr, it's www.pacifyr.com. Pacifyr.
All right. Is there any other contact information you'd like to give out, Shibu?
So we are available both in the iOS as well as the Android. The apps are available, so anybody can search for Pacifyr for clients in the App Store or Play Store, and they will be able to download. And it's a very user-friendly and very easy to start using it. So that's how we have designed it.
Excellent. Excellent. So if you do want to hear this program again or share it with friends or leave a comment, log on to our website, www.intersections-exchange.org. Until next time.
Thank you.